Hey guys, so you guys are going to have a question on your district assessment that goes over factoring, which we are not scheduled to do until next week. So we're going to talk about it a little bit today and then show you how to check it. So that way, if you're given a multiple choice question, you can actually check it without knowing how to factor. This is something that you guys learned in Algebra 1, but we're just going to do a real quick refresher. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our equation, x squared plus 9x plus 8, and luckily this is already set up in the correct form. It is in, it's called ax plus bx plus c form, which is exactly what we needed in, sorry. So it's in looks ugly. Ax squared plus bx plus c form. So that's exactly what we needed in, so it's already good to go. And we're going to take this a value, which since there's not a number in front, we know that that's a number 1. So we're going to take that a and multiply it times our c value, which is our 8. So a times c is going to give us 1 times 8, which is just 8. So once we get that number, we're going to do factors of that number, hence the name factoring. So factors means two numbers that multiply together to give us 8. So numbers that multiply together, we have 1 and 8, 2 and 4. If you go any bigger than 2, you get 3. 3 doesn't multiply into 8, and once you get past 3, you get back to 4. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our sets of factors, and we're going to see if either of those sets of factors add up to equal our middle number. So we have this middle number, which is 9, and so this 1 and 8 is going to add up to equal 9. So we need to add to equal 9. So add to equal 9, that middle number. So when we get that, we have 1 and 8. We're going to set up two sets of parentheses with an x and an x in front. We're going to fill in our 1 and our 8, and then we're going to look at our signs. So we have a positive 9 and a positive 8. So to multiply together two positive numbers and adding together two positive numbers, you're going to get both positives, which means we need both of these to be positive inside. So this is fully factored. So like I said, you don't even have to know how to factor if you can just work backwards. So on your test, it's going to say factor this expression, and you're going to have 4 multiple choice questions that look kind of like our answer, x plus 1 times x plus 8. So the way that we can check to see if our answer is correct is we can do our box method or our FOIL method, whichever you like better. So we have x plus 1 and we have x plus 8. And we're going to go ahead and just multiply that out. So we're going to have x times x for x squared. Then we're going to have 8 times x, which is 8x, 1 times x, which is 1x, and 1 times 8, which is just 8. So then we combine our like terms. We have that 1 and that 1x and 8x. So it's going to give us x squared plus 9x plus 8. So once we check that these two answers match, then we're good to go. So once you factor it, you're going to multiply it back out, double check your answers. Those match, so we are good. So need to match. Okay, moving on to number 2. So number 2 is different. It's still in that ax squared plus bx plus c form, but the difference is now is that our a value is going to be an 8. So we have a number there instead of just number 1. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a times c, which is 8 times 3, and it equals 24. So we're going to take factors of 24. Okay, so we're going to have 1 and 24. We're going to have 2 and 12. We're going to have 3 and 8. 4 times 6. 5 doesn't go into 24, and then we're back at 6. So we're good with those factors. So now the difference is this time we need our numbers to add up to a negative 10. okay? But they have to multiply together to give us a positive number. So we know multiplying together, a positive times a positive equals a positive, or a negative times a negative equals a negative. So when we're trying to add them up to equal -10, we're going to have to use this second option. I'm so sorry. A negative times a negative equals a positive. Whoops. So we're going to have to use that second option because we need it to add up to equal a negative number. But when they multiply, we need it to be a positive. So we need both those numbers to be negative. So we're going to go through, I'm going to go through and make these all negatives. So once we make them all negatives, we can see if any of them add up to a -10. So -1 plus -24, that doesn't work. -2 plus -12 gives us -14, so that doesn't work. -3 plus -8 is -11. -4 plus -6, that one's going to be our answer. So we're going to do our parentheses again. And we're going to have x, and now we have a -4 and a -6. Okay, here's where it's different than the last time. So last time, the number in front of our x squared was a 1. Now it's an 8. So we're going to take that 8 and we're going to put it under here. So this is called slide and divide. So we're going to divide that 8 and we're going to reduce those fractions. So 4 over 8, if we divide both of those by 4, we're going to get 1 over 2. And then 6 and 8 are both divisible by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so that's the divide part. So here's the slide. We're going to take that 2 and we're going to slide it up front. We're going to take that 4 and we're going to slide it up front. So we're going to have 2x minus 1. You're going to leave that 1 where it was and just bring that 2 in the front. And then we're going to have 4x minus 3. So if you have a number in front of your x squared that's not a 1, you're going to divide it and then you're going to slide it into the front after you reduce those fractions. So if you take this and you multiply it out, you're going to get that same answer right there. All right, you guys, so you guys have the rest of these, 3 through 8, I believe. Number 10 is a challenge question. See if you guys can get number 10.